Hey, what's going on, kings and queens? This is your girl, Queen D1A Virtual Diva of the Queen's TV, and we are back with another one. So today we have Malika Andrews in the office. So if you guys do not know who Malika Andrews is, she is a sports commentator for ESPN. And some people want to call her a feminist, some people want to call her a racist. I don't know her personally. I was introduced to her with the Stefan's around the time when Stephen A. Smith and the controversial with, I'm not even gonna butcher his name, but with the Celtics coach and the owner's wife and other women that he was involved with that was against the rules being signed as a coach or just having a position, period, inside the organization of basketball. So, hey kings, hey queens, hey my crowns and my tiaras. If you're here for the first time, go ahead and subscribe to this good old nasty channel. Thumbs up the content so it can push me through the algorithm, and also leave a comment in the comment section so I guys know what you thought about this content. So let's get into a little bit of Malika. Malika Andrews is an American sports journalist and reporter. She is the host of NBA Today, which replaced The Jump. She joined ESPN in October of 2018 as an online NBA writer, and she debuted as the youngest sideline reporter for a broadcast during the 2020 NBA bubble. Also, the charismatic journalist began her journey to fame in 2017 after she graduated with a communication degree from University of Portland. As a student in Portland, Andrew was a sports writer and editor, which helped her get to where she is now. Malika Andrews has become a prominent figure in NBA. Some people say by her having a degree in communication and editing doesn't give her the right of degree and skills that she needs to be as an NBA sports commentator or whatever. But again, Miss Andrews is a sports writer and editor with the communication degree. So, again, like I said, that people says that, okay, even a lot of people don't like Stephen or they don't like Shannon, they want to call me the pick-me's and stuff like that. But they still are respected commentators in this business. And they have said a lot of questionable things over the years. So now we done had plenty of women that came in before Malika had came in, and they was trying to hold 10 toes in the ground and saying a little slick shit and coming for men too. But now we have it has been Caucasian women as well that came in and said questionable things. So a lot of people says that, long as you coming after the black men and the black players, they don't care. But when you start coming after Caucasian and others, that's when it's a problem. So that's how people start questioning Malika of all the things that she had been saying, but she had been going full throttle when it comes to black men. She disrespected a few players. She also disrespected Kobe Bryant, and she also questioned something else. And if I can find it, I will show you guys. But that's just a little back history of Malika. I'm not gonna be in here too long, so let's get into some of the things that she had been questioning about since she been in this field with ESPN. Let's go. Let's get it. Okay.
That being said, let's rewind and go back to what happened with her and Stephen A. Smith about the Emi Udoka suspension. Here's a video. Stephen A. Smith destroys Malika Andrews. Here's a short version of this video. Let's get into it. Stephen A. Smith and Malika Andrews is talking about the. Gotta watch it carefully. Malika Andrews seemed to be visibly upset about Emi Udoka landing the job. And see, you gotta watch it carefully. She's throwing in little slick jabs here and there. Look at her facial expressions. That being said, let's rewind and go back to what happened with her and Stephen A. Smith about the Emi Udoka suspension. Here's a video. Stephen A. Smith destroys Malika Andrews. Here's a short version of this video. Let's get into it. Stephen A. Smith and Malika Andrews is talking about the Emi Udoka suspension.
Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. The fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
Stephen A. Smith was caught off guard by her feminist comments. And this is what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
Let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show.
And that's another thing that people have a problem with her is that a lot of guys that she interviewed or she will come onto their show, but when you come on her show, it's a wholly different story. But they will sit there calmly and quiet and let her finish what she had to say. They would not interrupt her or anything. But as soon as she's finished and it's time for someone else to talk, there she go, interrupting them, trying to be condescending, short, being petty, and all other kind of stuff. So he checked her before she got started. Because as soon as she don't like what you have to say, as some people does, as soon as you like what their narrative or what they got to say, they're going to cut you off and then try to take over. But with him, he said, hell no.
It ain't happening.
Malika Andrews got destroyed, in my opinion. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so that's the reason why Malika Andrews, she started getting a lot of backlash for that, right? And myself and a lot of other YouTubers did a lot of great coverage exposing a lot of the other stuff that she was doing, right? And if y'all want to check that out, y'all can check out this Malika Andrews playlist on my YouTube channel, and I'll have it at the end of this video. And with that being said, man, Malika Andrews was talking about Steve Nash being fired by the Brooklyn Nets and Emi Udoka landing his job. And I'll have that clip right here.
Well, there's a word that Janae used that's just rattling around in my brain, accountability. I'm not sure how that gets grasped back for Brooklyn. Because it's not lost on me that Ime Udoka has done incredible things with the Boston Celtics. But it just seems like if we're having this conversation about Ime Udoka being hired by Brooklyn, where he was an assistant coach, accountability is the word I keep coming back to. Where is the accountability to women in the NBA? Zach, what do you make of this? Look, at the end of the day, very few people, I believe, are beyond redemption. And I'm not saying that that's the scenario here. But what I am saying is I sincerely hope that when we talk about due diligence and vetting, the Brooklyn Nets are taking into account multiple voices on this and who could be affected, because we know that this is going to be ongoing.
And I want to know this. Malika is the only one still bringing up the Udoka situation. She's like, he needs to be held accountable. And she's reintroducing accountability over and over as if he wasn't held accountable. She's acting like he broke the law or something. Listen, Malika, he had consensual relations with a woman. Both of them broke the rules, but only one of them fined. Only one of them had their pay impacted. Only one was suspended from their job. Only one was publicly humiliated, not just within the industry, but on national television.
Okay, so like I said, man, y'all gotta watch her facial expressions and the little slick comments that she's trying to add in. Oh yeah, let's talk about accountability. I want to focus on that. We need to focus on accountability. Like, come on, man. If Emi Udoka is getting a job, that goes to show you that that situation wasn't all that serious. Boston made that shit serious. 2 adults having consensual sex. 2 adults having consensual sex. Consensual sex, man. You know, it's not that serious, man. It was 2 adults doing their own thing, got caught up. It's that simple, man. The lady was married. Emi Udoka wasn't married. He was just...
Well, at the time of recording this, it hasn't even been 24 hours, and the video has over 20,000 views, and I got hundreds of new subscribers, and it just went crazy. Not to mention, there were so many people that agreed with me and everything I was saying, which to that, I say thank you. Now, in my last video, I only talked about a couple topics that were fairly new, that everyone basically knew about, but I just gave my perspective. However, this time, I want to go over some examples that are, one, not so recent, and two, just proves that NBA players also don't like her. Now, when someone dies and you're reporting on the situation, the best way to go about it is just to talk about their achievements and then give a moment of silence. However, did you think Malika Andrews was going to do that, especially to a black man?
Shifting gears.
Okay, this I watched this last night. That would make me decide to come up here today and give my commentary and my opinion about this young lady. She's very beautiful. She reminds me of Drea from Basketball Wives, but that's here nor there. I was really disgusted, but let me give you my opinion before I let you guys. And it's not just about what she's going to say and do. It's just I was really disgusted. Okay, when someone dies, people come and say how they affected their life, impacted their life, good or bad. But mostly you try to say good things about this person, and sometimes it may go left. But you mostly get up here and you would tell people how they were and how, you know, how you see that person in the eye of you. So what disgusted me about Malika Andrews is that when she was going down this man's credentials and everything that he has done or whatnot here or there, when she started getting to some of the bad things, she had this smirk on her face like, yeah, you're passed away and I am giving it to you. I hope you're flipping in your grave. It was just the disgust for me as a black woman, what she was saying about this black man that had passed away. Just look at her face expression. It tells everything that she was intentionally, personally coming after this man for whatever reason. And I was so turned off by this other black woman. You know, she is a mixed race, but still, she is a black woman. And I think that was so disrespectful. And I lost so much respect for her because of, again, when we be in up higher places, we have to fight to stay there. And then being a woman in a male-dominant space, you have to fight even twice as hard. And for her to come here and do this, I see why women don't respect her as much, and the men do not respect her much. And that goes for all races, not just African American.
Former Michigan State star Adrian Payne was shot and killed in Orlando, Florida, early Monday morning, the Orange County Sheriff's Office said. And Payne was the 15th pick by the Atlanta Hawks in 2014, played 4 seasons in the NBA with multiple teams. In 2018, he was waived by the Magic after he was named in a report by ESPN's Outside the Lines that he'd been involved in an alleged sexual assault at Michigan State in 2010. No charges were filed in that case.
All right, now let me just say this. I talked about this when Rachel Nichols brought up a Derrick Rose rape case, and I'm going to do the same right here. Adrian Payne was never actually charged for the crimes. In fact, they were just allegations as far as everyone's concerned. Now, of course, it could have happened, but the only people that will truly know were the parties involved. And first of all, even if it is true, why are you bringing this up? It's a dead man we're talking about, and we're trying to give our condolences. Second, if he was such a bad person, why would you even bring him up in the first place? Just ignore him. Like, there are some celebrities out there that I genuinely do not like, and when they die, I'm not going to say shit because I have nothing nice to say. We were all taught from a young age, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing at all, especially when someone is dead. In fact, I've watched the entire clip, which is about a minute long, and she had nothing nice to say at all. Look, I get it, you're ESPN, it was a hot topic, obviously, it was someone's death, but why did you have to bring something old up that, by the way, again, he was never charged for? I think you're gonna start to notice in this video that there is a trend that the people she criticized the most post happened to be the own skin color of herself. Now, as I'm doing research for this video, I found a clip of her talking about Jonathan Tjarks, which is a sports writer for ESPN, or he was. About 2 weeks ago, he died, and this was the tribute that she gave on ESPN.
I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Jonathan Tjarks, an NBA writer for The Ringer, who died over the weekend after a battle with a rare form of cancer. And he was just 35 years old. Tjarks wrote extensively about the Mavericks, and we at NBA Today send our heartfelt condolences to his wife, Melissa, and his son, Jackson, and his entire family.
As you can tell, these two tributes are very different compared to each other. Now, I actually could not find anything on Jonathan, which I didn't want to find anything because I don't want to have to bring up someone's past. So I don't know if he's ever done something dumb in the past. I don't know, nor do I care. However, she seemed very happy to talk about Jonathan Tjarks and his death instead of Adrian Payne. Do you see this pattern that I'm going with? The more and more examples I show you, this isn't just luck. This isn't just a one-time thing. This is a continuous thing that keeps happening. At this point, it's just racism that's being justified. Alright, so a lot of you probably saw the Joe Mazzulla clip that I showed yesterday, but
Settled in August of 2009. He paid a $100 fine and after an incident and aggravated assault.
probably saw the Joe Mazzulla clip that I showed yesterday, but I'm going to show it again just for reference in this video.
And we'd be remiss not to also mention that Mazzulla was arrested twice at West Virginia, once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault. He pled guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009 for domestic battery after an incident at Morgantown Bar. The domestic battery case never went to trial. It was settled in August of 2009. He paid a $100 fine and court costs, plus had to do 40 hours of community service.
Now let's hear talk about Luke Walton, who, by the way, in 2019, and I hate bringing this up, he was in some sexual assault case, even though it was just an accusation and she actually never filed any charges. But I wonder if Malika Andrews brought that up.
Cavaliers, they are hiring Luke Walton as an assistant coach. That's according to ESPN senior insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Walton joins Coach J.B. Bickerstaff's staff. Say that 10 times fast. After spending the past 5+ seasons as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers and Sacramento Kings, Walton, who was dismissed after a 6-11 start with the Kings in November, was part of an NBA championship coaching staff with Golden State under Steve Kerr in 2015.
Oh, she didn't.
So that's why people say that she came in as a pick-me to come after black players, and not just black players, announcers, coaches, and everything. So her behavior, just this short amount of time, has been very questionable and very disrespectful and vile. And she's I don't know. I can have words to say, because when you watch this shit in 4K, you can't believe that someone that looks like you, not exactly like you, but her father is black, her mother is Jewish, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know, for her to come in and destroy black men and their legacy, it's absolutely disrespectful. And so, like I said, being a woman and coming into the being in that field, you have to work twice as hard. And for her to come in and do the things that she's doing, I wonder how long will she be there, because she hasn't been the first one, and I'm quite sure she won't be the last one. But why do you have to come in to step on African American men? That's just what I'm saying. That's it. That's freaking on.
Brooks should be suspended for game 3 and possibly game 4. Look, you have to clean this up. Look, we talking about people saying we don't know if he did it intentionally. He fouled him on purpose, and he did it with intentions. Okay, let's get that out the way. Here's the thing that we have to. Looking at the play,
you can't look at a person. Yeah, but you're making an assumption.
Yes, you can.
And this is what bothers me on this one as well, is because Malika is a communication and writer and editor. She had not played the game. She had watched the game. So she don't know physically how the players work when they're on the court and off the court. She have not got hit by a player when they play the game, again, because she's not a NBA player. She's a writer and an editor, and she do commentary on what she observed and see. So for these men that have played in the game took some of the hits and the falls. They know what is an potential hit and what is not. So for her to question this man on what she asked of him, and then going to say, well, I don't know if what you're saying is true. How could you say that when they actually played in the freaking game? You have not. So this was another disrespectful and condescending moment that she just not giving these men the just due or what she asked from them. And again, if you're here for the first time, welcome. Go ahead and thumbs up this content, and just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to do so. If you're here if you're here for the first time, and leave me a comment in the comment section so I know you guys thought about the content. And I appreciate you guys so much for being over here. Thank you. Let's keep going.
Can't look at a person and know what their intent was. It was a dangerous play regardless, but you can't. Okay. I didn't realize we had a mind reader on the panel. Carl, please continue.
Burke, how old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
Now here's when he humbled her.
21. 12.
12. How old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
12.
I was about 13 years old when I dunked the ball for the first time. I know what a fast break looks like. I have 4 months out in a season because I had my wrist taken out on a dunk. I know not necessarily the intent to hurt, but I know the intent to foul extremely hard, and that's the repercussions.
Okay, so right away, she's getting upset she was wrong, being condescending, and not respecting her colleagues. The simple fact is, all three of those guys are former players, and they all said they can watch a play and get a conclusion from that. Woj didn't say that. Woj didn't play. He knew better. But all the players that watch game film and understand how the game works knew that play was intentional.
Woj, you reported that Joe Mazzulla will be the interim head coach here. You can see his resume on your screen. He's been a Celtics assistant coach the last 3 seasons after spending the previous 3 seasons at Fairmount State. And he played for West Virginia between 2006 and 2011, and now could become the NBA's youngest head coach at 34 years old. And we'd be remiss.
Now, just leave it where it's at. That's all she had to say. That's all she had to say. Leave it there. But she couldn't do that. You know why? It's because it's a thing that she does.
It's not to also mention that Mazzulla was arrested twice at West Virginia, once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault. He pled.
She said 2008. 2008. That was in 2022 that this stuff happened. 2022. She went back to 2008. I'd be good, golly watch.
Guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009 for domestic battery after an incident at Morgantown Bar. The domestic battery case never went to trial. It was settled in August of 2009. He paid a $100 fine and court costs, plus had to do 40 hours of community service. Now, that was 13 years ago. He settled and paid both fines.
Bringing up someone's background to see how it could affect their future job is okay in itself. But going off what we know about Malika and her past behavior, do you think it would have been acceptable if someone else on the panel had brought those things up about a woman? I have a hard time seeing it because she won't even hold women accountable that are doing wrong right now, so why would she do it for their past? She would say, they're not here to defend themselves, and we're not going to blame women if we don't know all the facts. That's what she would say.
Kobe Bryant, when I've seen him personally get in people's face and just cuss them out to their damn near in tears, and they're grown men. You know, Michael Jordan probably would have been fighting his teammates if he had to see some of the stuff that these guys do. So I feel like what makes LeBron great, he's always been knocked, oh, he's not a killer. He'll make the right pass, and I've always loved that. But I also think sometimes that hurts him because, not saying I've never had him as a leader, and I'm sure he has his ways of particularly leading this team. But I know for a fact if the two guys that I mentioned before saw some of the effort and energy that he saw from his teammates this year, it would have been an issue.
I mean, when Kobe, Dwight, and Nash all had injuries, though, they didn't win a playoff game.
They got to the playoffs, though.
But they didn't win a game. Neither did this Lakers team. The year 19, when he was averaging 22 on 37% shooting, Kobe did. The Lakers, they went 10 and 25 in the games that he played in. So I'm not sure it's. I understand what you're saying, Matt, but I'm not so sure it's saying, well, Kobe Bryant would have been the white horse to. Kobe Bryant would have been the white horse.
Definitely not saying that, but what I'm saying is Kobe would get in, he would not let the way some of his teammates play.
Gone through as a player, That's the unique thing that he brings to the panel. Out that Michael and Kobe.
Not why we are here.
With this one, we already know she falsely accused Stephen A. of blaming women, but what I'd like to add is if you're the guilty party that slept with Ime Udoka, why don't you come forward to stop the speculation? If you know your coworkers that are also...
This is not about pointing the finger. Stop. The fact that it was able to go on all day, the fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else...
And it's going to be the last thing that I'm going to go ahead and jump off. And y'all guys can go ahead and view it. Thumbs up, leave a comment. Okay, and I also appreciate all you guys. This is when it comes to period point blank. Okay, the thing is this. A lot of women, after the thing with the owner, we know who that woman is. But there has been other women that also, that's in the industry, have slept with him as well. We don't know exactly who those women are. So the thing is this. People was pinpointing and bringing up women's names and some of their faces. The thing was this. A lot of women was being blamed that has not slept with him. So people was getting under fire. They wasn't getting fired. They was just getting blamed for something that they didn't do and potentially could have got fired for sleeping with a coworker when it was against the rules. So that is what Stephen tried to explain to her, which she already know the ins and outs and what's going on. She just want to play dumb to the situation, acting like they want to blame women and not blame the men, which also is that you know what's wrong and it's not just, okay, you sleeping with a coworker. You are a fucking married woman and he's a married man, period, point blank. But the fact that she want to sit there and say that, why are you guys blaming the women and not the men? He's one man. He was sleeping with multiple women. So it went over her head, and they had to humble this little girl because she's want to be a feminist and a pick-me and just jump out the window not knowing the ins and out of what the hell she really didn't understand, or she understood it and didn't care about what was going on. She just wanted to talk about it because it was a hot topic at the time.
Should have been suspended or not. We are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
With this one, we already know she falsely accused Stephen A. of blaming women, but what I'd like to add is if you're the guilty party that slept with Ime Udoka, why don't you come forward to stop the speculation? If you know your coworkers that are also women are being dragged on social media, why don't you take responsibility for your actions? Notice how she never called for that. Instead, she's blaming everybody else for wondering why the woman wasn't punished. And that's not fair. Especially when she's the one that just aired out the new coach's dirty laundry all over national television.
When they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, you know, this relationship, one of these relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook?
Well,
that's the problem that I have right now. Everybody got to be held accountable.
I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was a investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here. And I think that transparency is what will rule the day here. And so without having all of the information, it is unfair and irresponsible of us to go and to speculate on that, because what we have to...
Well, I'm not speculating. Sure. I have the information. I'm not speculating.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that an independent law firm came in, did this investigation, and the facts that they were presented, they came to the conclusion that Ime Udoka violated a policy that warranted a 1-year suspension, and I share your frustration with the lack of transparency while understanding that there is some things that they need to, from a legal perspective, keep private. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to the conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side. I thank you for your perspective.
The last thing I want to mention is notice how in every one of these clips, she's interrupting the speaker, but no one ever interrupts her. Once she's taken the floor, it's her floor. That's what I don't like. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a different perspective, but why don't you ever let them finish their point? And in Perk's case, he never got to finish his point. She completely cut him off and took him off the air, and that was the end of it. If someone says something she doesn't like, she's allowed to interrupt and even cut them off completely, and I do not like that one bit. That's my biggest problem with all this. But that's just what I think about all this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.
Okay, you guys, so thank you guys for just tuning in. Tuning in to the commentary and getting my opinion about Malika Andrews. And again, I'm not sitting here doing a hate train or hate speech on her. I just don't like the things that she has said, especially against towards African American men. And so, thumbs up the content and catch me on another one. And I appreciate all you guys for this showing up for your girl. This is your girl, Queen 318, Raven K Diva, House of Queens TV.
Hello.
It's this thing called life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but put your faith in God. He will see you through. I love you. God loves you. And I hope you love yourself even more. Keep it in my ear. Get great later. Baby.